Good morning. This is Patrick Brady, and we're going to talk about global flows today. Welcome to Global Flows Podcast, where we delve into the intricate world of international trade and politics, unraveling how they shape our interconnected global landscape. Join us for insightful conversations. Okay, great. We're going to look at a couple articles today that involve global trade and global flows. I thought quite interesting. I don't know all the details of English politics. However, the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is now polling worse than Truss, who only lasted a couple weeks as Prime Minister with key UK voters. Um, the article cites it's polling worse than his predecessors, Truss, sorry, with many shifting their support to right-wing Reform Party. As we talked about in previous videos, there's definitely a shift to um, more right-wing politicians. The pendulum swing of politics is happening. Europe has traditionally been, well, at least in recent memory, has been moving left. Now it looks like it's moving right. Um, Sunak's tenure has seen a significant decline in Conservative Party support, putting the Labour Party in strong position for future power, as per comprehensive analysis of recent British polls. What are the reasons? I'm not so sure, but the next article will give us some insight. Pretty interesting. Set to unveil measures to curb migration to UK. Plans to unveil new policies to increase migration. The measures will also introduce a cap on dependents for certain foreign workers and make significant changes to the shortage of occupation list. Thought this is interesting. This must be um, the will of the people. So, limit number of dependents scheme under which employers can hire overseas workers in sectors facing chronic staff shortages at 20% discount on wages. Okay, next topic is the China debt issue. I don't know if we've even seen it's like when Covey talks about the glacier and the water, and then what you can see is the tippy top part out of the water. Well, there's a lot going on below the surface, and we shall see. Let's look at a couple articles talking about the debt issue in China. Two of them were about Evergrande, the property developer. So, forgive me if I don't know all the details, but it's this topic is. I lived in China for 10 years, and many people who are buying homes put a deposit down, and in China, the deposits are pretty huge, between 20 or 30% usually, uh, for um, for property, for um, what am I thinking of? Primary home purchases. So that real estate may or may not have been built. Usually, it's not built, so you kind of start your mortgage even before the home is built. So you can imagine if these buildings are built by like Evergrande, um, and then they're built, and the mortgage is already decided, and the mortgage is being paid into. Well, 2 or 3 days later, especially when there's a debt issue, um, the uh, the companies they keep pushing the debt down the road. So at the end, people may not actually even ever see their homes. Okay, here are a couple bullet points for this one. Evergrande's international creditors are making a last-ditch effort to prevent a court-ordered liquidation of the indebted Chinese property developer. Okay, that is a huge story. That's going to hurt a lot of people in the wake who are expecting their homes. And creditors are not just within China; there are international, as it says. Creditors are discussing restructuring options, including debt to equity swaps, before a Hong Kong court hearing on Evergrande its liquidation petition. Evergrande's crisis highlights broader problems in China property sector, and its potential liquidation could severely impact other developers. Okay, this is from Financial Times and these authors. Okay. Chinese developer Evergrande wins more time for restructuring deal. Hong Kong court gives indebted group until January to refine proposals to creditors. Yep, they've been kicking the can down the road, and um, you know, someone's going to get hurt in all this for sure. Evergrande's international creditors are urgently seeking an agreement to avert liquidation of the heavily indebted Chinese property developer. Discussions are focused on restructuring options. The potential liquidation of Evergrande underscores the wider crisis in China's property sector. Okay, kind of a repeat almost, but this is progress from the first article. Okay. Major debts. These buildings, um, residential and commercial, are very cost a lot of investment. Chinese borrowers default in record numbers as the economic crisis deepens. More than 8 million people are blacklisted by authorities after missing payments on mortgages and business loans. Under Chinese law, defaulters are blocked from a range of economic activities such as purchasing airplane tickets and making mobile phone payments, representing a drag on the economy. Wow. I mean, can you imagine if you're late on a mortgage payment and then you can't buy a train ticket, buy a plane ticket, use a cell phone? This is going to be major issue. They say that 20 or 25% of Chinese youth are unemployed. They stopped giving those figures, so what can we expect? They've often talked about this like social score, which means if for a citizen, if they, I didn't realize that not paying mortgage would be part of this, but if a citizen does something that is seen as controversial to the government, whether local or national, they can get a reduction in their social score. So this is a scary deal. Chinese borrowers are defaulting in record numbers, with over 8 million people blacklisted for missed payments on mortgages and business loans. The surge in defaults is exacerbating China's economic downturn, impacting consumer confidence and highlighting the absence of personal bankruptcy laws. Yeah, there's not much personal bankruptcy law in China. Blacklisted defaulters face severe restrictions on economic activities and social mobility, adding to the challenges in the already struggling Chinese economy. We will keep a close eye on this. 8 million people is a drop in the bucket in China, but you could see how this would have a domino effect. I mean, especially if you think about like renters and not being able to pay their the monthly rent. And so, a lot of homes, which are actually like kind of like condos and high rises in China, are owned by, it could be owned by big groups, that could also be owned by individuals. Some of the places that I rented in China have, an investor, and they invest in one property, and you're paying them. Maybe they have one or two or three properties, just like here in the States. But if their renters don't pay, you can imagine them having a hard time paying their mortgages as well, causing the domino effect. Okay, a little positive news. This is from the China briefing. And US 2023 foreign investment into China data analyst on deals, values, and M&A investments. Okay. Despite Washington's negative focus towards Beijing, numerous Chinese industrial sectors are attracting significant US investments. We analyze what's going on here and where. So interesting. This is kind of counter to one of the articles we read last week. Here are the bullet points. This from Chris Devonshire Ellis and Henry Tillman. Despite tensions between Washington and Beijing, U.S. investments in various Chinese industrial sectors continue to grow with a focus on adapting to China's consumer dynamics and trade policies. Key areas of U.S. investment in China in 2023 include healthcare, electric vehicles, digital infrastructure, and lifestyle sectors with significant deals in Q1 through Q3. American investors are increasingly targeting China's domestic market, recognizing the potential of China's rising upper middle and high income households, despite restrictions in sectors like microchips and AI. Okay, that is interesting. Okay, great. Well, my friends, these have been some articles that we went over today. I hope that you like them, are educated by them. Um, thank you.